Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. It is reset day and this is a very special week because it marks the return of Iron Banner for the first time in Destiny 2. And as you can see, Lord Saladin has returned to the tower in all of his glory to once again host up the event. If you're new to Destiny, Iron Banner is a special PvP event that would show up every month in Destiny 1, and you could play the Iron Banner playlist in the Crucible that would earn you reputation towards awesome gear. Thematically, it's one of my favorite events in Destiny, and I'm super excited that it's back. We'll talk about that as well as everything else going on this week in Destiny 2, so let's jump into it.
All of you together, like Iron Lords.
So like I mentioned, Lord Saladin is back in the tower to lead up the Iron Banner, but before we talk about that, let's talk about everything else you can do to earn your precious Luminous Engrams. Right off the top, we have the Flashpoint on Nessus, your Clan XP, the Nightfall, your Leviathan completion, and Call to Arms, which nicely does also work by completing Iron Banner. We've also got a daily and a seasonal Iron Banner. We're going to learn a lot more about seasons during TwitchCon, but at the very least it looks like Iron Banner is going to show up once per season, however long that ends up being. For the Nightfall this week, we have the Inverted Spire, the modifiers are Attrition, and the Time Warp is Kills. This one shouldn't prove to be too difficult, in fact it should also be quite okay during Prestige as well. And speaking of Prestige mode, it was announced by Bungie that they're going to delay the start of the Prestige mode for the raid by a week, so they can fix an issue with the Callus encounter that might make it a little bit easier than normal to complete. They want the world's first race to be as legitimate as possible, so I can respect this. I'm also kind of glad because it was a little weird that they decided to host Iron Banner and Prestige mode in the same week. I'm glad now that I can focus down on Iron Banner and worry about Prestige mode next week, where we're going to have a little bit of a gap anyways. But moving on to the Iron Banner, you can start your journey by visiting the tower and talking to Lord Saladin. He will then start you on a quest to start earning precious gear. And in fact, if we go up to him, we can inspect some of that gear and see what he has in store. So I really want to highlight just a few things for now. We're going to go over the loot in much more detail throughout the week. But of course, first up, we can see that the Iron Banner gear looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to get the full set. But really, I want to point out a few of the weapons, starting with the fusion rifle, the WIZENED REBUKE. It is a max impact fusion rifle. This thing is going to pack quite a punch, and it actually has a perk that's going to make things a little bit easier called Backup Plan, which grants you reduced charge time and increased handling speed for a short time immediately after swapping to the weapon, so that's going to let you get 1 to 2 shots out in rapid succession. I'm very curious to try that out in the raid. Next up we have the grenade launcher, the Day's Fury, which I'm kind of looking forward to using. I've been warming up quite a bit to grenade launchers ever since I started focusing on direct fire, and spike grenades, the perk on this one, is going to help with that quite a bit. So I don't think this is going to be incredible, but it's still going to be fun to play around with. Next up we have the hand cannon. I was really looking forward to this one, especially since it has Outlaw, but then I realized it's one of the high impact tier ones, so I'm not super stoked, but it does have a pretty decent reload speed, and of course it has Outlaw, so it might end up being pretty good. We'll just have to wait and see. The final weapon I wanted to point out for now is called the Time-Worn Spire. It's the Pulse Rifle. It's a very high rate of fire Pulse Rifle, which is very interesting. Even a bit higher than the Nightshade, and on top of that it's got Zen Moment, which is going to be very interesting, might be really good in the Crucible, definitely going to be checking this one out. Aside from that, we have 2 shaders, Iron Battalion, which looks really cool. It's got some gold accent, a couple shades of green, and it's got a more of a gunmetal plated look, which is really cool. But the shader I prefer from this set is the Iron Wolf, the other shader, which kind of forgoes most of the green in favor of brown. It also has this sort of polished plated steel look, which I really dig. It's going to look really cool, especially on Titans, so I'm going to be stocking up on these quite a bit. And that kind of brings me to the topic of packages. We don't know if there's going to be a limit on how many packages you can earn that contain actual gear like there was during the faction rally. And real quick, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, during the faction rally a couple weeks ago, you had a limit of being able to earn 30 packages that would earn you gear. Every package after 30 would only grant you shaders. So basically, if you didn't get every piece of gear that you wanted within 30 packages, you were kind of out of luck. And even if that is a limit for the Iron Banner, it's gonna take you a lot longer to get there. There's no lost sectors for you to cheese to get more tokens. You're limited to the amount of tokens you're given per game. Now, in addition to the event itself, we're also getting the debut of a brand new Crucible map called Distant Shore. This is a map that is going to be debuting with the event and will remain after the event ends. The map takes place on Nessus and also has a lot of visual similarity to Endless Vale, which also takes place on Nessus, and this also does seem to be a larger map than Endless Vale. And aside from the similarities with the name, it also strikes a very strong Shores of Time feel, and I'm really excited to play around and see what this map is all about. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you're going to be focusing on. Is there any must-have weapons in this list for you? Let's discuss. But yeah, that's where I'm going to be all week, grinding out Iron Banner. Also, I wanted to quickly apologize for not posting for the past few days. I had some weird PC issues on Friday, and then that kind of led to me deciding to take a small break, hit that reset button, and clear my mind a little bit. I've also been pretty busy lately with my new podcast. And also a huge thank you to anyone who's actually checked out the podcast. With your help, we've gotten to number 2 in the TV and film charts on iTunes, which definitely blows my mind a little bit, so again, thank you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I started a nerd and geek culture podcast called Nerd On. It's just me and a few buddies of mine getting together every week and nerding out about everything to do with comics, movies, video games, TV shows, so definitely check it out if that interests you. Aside from that, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Destiny content, and I will see you all next time.